I can assign the meaning. I can assign what home means to me, just like this emotion that I want to assign a positive experience to, or an experience that I have control over. We can call on these emotions when we need them most.
And the conversation was regarding, what are emotions? Why am I having them? Why are they having the impact on me that they're having? And how do I stop having them control me the way that they do? Hey everybody, this is Bianca.
And this is Emilia.
And welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are making evolution possible for growth-minded humans through vulnerable lessons, stories, and technology. We hope you enjoyed the most recent episode, 164. These beliefs are hurting your relationship. People loved that episode. That was actually one of the highest episodes that we've had so far, just in terms of like how many people listened since it was downloaded. So If you guys haven't heard that episode, I highly suggest going and listening to it. Emilia and I really dove into what are the beliefs and the myths that are hurting your ability to have a beautiful relationship. We really dove into that, and I love that episode. I was actually watching it the other day and I was like, ooh, that was good.
That was a good one. Yeah, so if you haven't listened, definitely tune in. We would love your feedback.
Absolutely. So for today, number 165, Motivation Monday, are emotions real?
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. If you clicked on this episode, you were probably number one, confused about like, what the hell are they talking about? Are emotions real? And number two, probably a little intrigued because maybe there's a part of you that's questioning, what are emotions and why are you having them, and why are they having the impact that they're having on your life? And so the reason I wanted to do this episode, and the reason why I believe that this episode is so important, is because I actually had the same conversation with every single one of my clients this week.
Get out.
No exaggeration. I talked about the same exact thing with every single one of my clients this week. And the conversation was regarding, what are emotions? Why am I having them? Why are they having the impact on me that they're having? And how do I stop having them control me the way that they do? Because here's what was going on. Most of my therapy clients and my coaching clients, they come to me because they feel so dysregulated by their emotions.
Yeah.
It's like they have no control over it. Their emotions completely throw them off. They throw them for a loop. They don't know how to feel safe and secure when they're feeling emotions. And so instead of feeling certain that, oh, okay, I'm feeling this emotion, I can do something about it, there's this feeling of, I can't have emotions because emotions lead me to do bad things. Emotions are bad. Right. Feeling emotions are just pain. They cause bad things. So let me just not feel them. So the conversation that I was having with all of these clients is something that I really wanted to bring into this episode. And to get us started, the first thing that I really want to say that I said to every client this week, emotions in and of themselves are not dangerous. Emotions are not bad, and emotions are not the reason why you're having the problems that you're having. It's not that you're feeling some emotion that's causing the problem. The reason why emotions feel so disruptive is because you don't feel secure enough yet. You don't feel confident enough yet in your ability to handle what you do in response to your emotions.
Whoop, whoop.
So Emilia and I both come from the framework, the theoretical orientation, to use big fancy psychology words, that emotions are not just these things that just pop up out of nowhere, right? Like if anyone has seen the movie Inside Out, there's actually a lot of data to show that that's not true. It's not real. That's not how emotions are made.
Not inside out, but emotions and how they're made.
Yes, the emotions. Emotions come from the meanings that we give to situations. They're created by, when I see this, it means this, which makes me feel this. And that causes a reaction or a response. Most people and most of my clients, they don't understand what the meanings are that they're giving to situations. Therefore, they're not controlling what emotions come up. And when they feel that emotion, there's a sense of like fear and sadness and panic and shame. And so there's a really unhelpful response that comes as a result. So what I want to help everyone in this episode to do, and Emilia has a lot of information to give on this too. Number one, just starting off with the understanding that you have so much more control over your emotions and over how you respond to those emotions than you believe. They're not these chaotic, dangerous things that just cause you to have erratic behavior. They actually serve a purpose. They're actually extremely helpful if you can understand what the message is that the emotion is trying to give you. And if you stop fearing it and running away from it, which is what most people do through substances, through numbing, through avoidance, through distraction, through overthinking. Because it's like, well, I'm scared of this thing, so let me think and think and think and think and think to try to push it away.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Em, you've seen that with like your clients too, and like the people that you've worked with.
So much. Matter of fact, like the two best analogies that I can give for that, because like you had mentioned, B, like we are all for the constructed theory of emotion, which is essentially shifting the power, the certainty, and the sense of control back inwardly, rather than having the belief that emotions are just, they're a part of who we are, which is the classical theory of emotions, right? So having that belief just that we construct our emotions, and the understanding at the neurological level that that is in fact the case, on a biophysio, all the levels possible. What I think is really empowering about that gets me so excited when I talk to clients about this, is that it shifts that sense of control back inwardly, which is so empowering of itself. And the two analogies that I use that have been so helpful in the past that I want our listeners to be able to use for their life, right, to really shift this sense of control back inwardly, is number one, if you're a foodie. I would say like a large majority of us are foodies, because, we can't get, a couple days without having that hunger ping you, right? Oh, yeah. So I want all of us to think about like the food that is in your fridge or the food that is in front of you. It didn't just show up there and appear magically, right? Like it didn't just get there. What had to happen was that there was ingredients put in, or it was somehow constructed to be that beautiful, magnificent plate or bowl or whatever it is. Roll. I'm thinking sushi right now, personally, in order to get in front of you, right? So like it was constructed, right, out of this intentional thought process and approach that happened maybe behind the scenes, between the farmers, the grocery stores, right, the restaurants, that all came together to be able to have what's in front of you, right? Just like that, that's how our emotions are really cultivated and constructed. So that one analogy, think about how your emotions are a culmination, they're a recipe of all of these things. And the biggest component of that, B, what you had mentioned, is the meaning you assign to it. So B, when I said sushi, you were like, oh, right? Because that you've had a ton of positive experiences, or you have associated positive meaning and a positive experience with eating sushi, so that your brain's like, oh yeah, yeah. And for some of us who might not like sushi, or might not have assigned a meaning that gives them a positive or cultivates a positive experience, they might have been like, oh, bleh, bleh, like might have had a visceral reaction to that, right? So that's analogy number one. Analogy number two, if you're a visual learner like me, I want you guys to think about a house. A lot of people don't really deconstruct how houses are made, but they don't just appear, right? We all know from the time of Aztecs to people all over the world, like it is constructed. You start from the ground up and then you assign a meaning of what home means to you. Right? Emotions are just like that. And to answer this question, if you haven't already guessed it, are emotions real? We at Evolve Ventures, we know how real they are. As a matter of fact, we believe in the realness of them, so much so that we want each one of you to shift that power dynamic back inwardly, to know that a house just doesn't appear, to know that food just doesn't appear on your plate, right? Rather, there's meaning assigned to it for food to equal yum for you, for house to equal home for you, right? And to shift that control back inwardly to say, I can assign the meaning. I can assign what home means to me, just like this emotion that I want to assign a positive experience to, or an experience that I have control over. We can call on these emotions when we need them most. So not only are they real, but they're so valuable and they're so important to experience, to cultivate, to construct, and to leverage depending upon where you want to go in your evolved journey. So that's all I got to say on this. I'm just thinking about sushi now. And fun fact about me, y'all, I used to hate sushi. So this is actually, I always use this experience in coaching call because I used to hate sushi. I used to think it would kill me. And I went through this whole exposure therapy experience for myself and actually assigned a different meaning to sushi to use this. And now I'm literally sushi obsessed. So it's so possible for everyone, not just in the sushi world, but for sure in the emotion world.
Your emotions don't have to control you. And they're not these scary things that you have no control over. Our emotions are just messages. And if you can understand what the emotion is trying to tell you, you can have control over what you do about it. And that is exactly what I tell all of my clients. And that is exactly what Emilia tells all of her clients. That is the work that we do. What does this mean about you? And what are you going to do about it?
B, what is your episode suggestion and final takeaway for our listeners on this?
Also, just really quick, I don't like sushi. When you said
Really?
sushi, I thought of Chinese food.
Hey, that's so funny. Interesting how that happens because emotions, right? You just created a yum experience and you just envisioned something instead of like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to go into that. It's too much. Very cool.
My episode takeaway. We're talking about Chinese food now. I'm like salivating.
I don't love food at all. It's fine.
Not at all. My Hattie is coming out like a wrecking ball over here.
Tina's like, when is dinner?
My episode suggestion is 130. 3 tips to understand and handle your emotions. And my takeaway was that last statement that I said, not about Chinese food, but that you don't have to run away from your emotions. They are not bad. Emotions are not dangerous. It's what you do about them that makes them good or bad.
Love it. My episode suggestion is 134. Your emotion is way more powerful than you think. Or I'm sorry, your imagination. Well, your emotion too, but the episode is 134. Your imagination is more powerful than you think. And my final takeaway is she, he, they, them, whatever it is, those who really master their emotional intelligence and master emotions have the keys to the world.
I got the keys.
That's all I got for today. All right, everyone. I'm so excited for our next couple episodes. We are ready and cranking for the next couple episodes for y'all. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We hope that we see you soon. We hear from you soon. We see you in the Out of the Mud events. We get your interest in all the things that we have coming down in the pipeline for Evolve Ventures. And if you don't know what that is, beep, Evolve Group Coaching. So we'll talk more about that. We'll give you more information. But on this Monday, we hope that you have an amazing Monday and you're off to a great start.
We'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody.